finding one in this condition was an absolute anomaly. These are known to go 500,000 miles on their original powertrain. I wish there was smell-o-vision, because growing up in one of these when they were new, it smells exactly the same. And the piece de resistance. Everything's just meant to last back in these days. You don't have to apologize for this. If you need it to do something, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. It just does. Hey everyone, and welcome back to DC Motorwerks. Today we've got our 2006 Toyota Sequoia, also known as the Japanese Suburban. And this is very special because this is our one owner 81,000 mile example. And the first generation Sequoia is very near and dear to my heart because I actually grew up in one of these as a kid. My mom bought one new in 2003 and we drove it for many, many years. And finding one in this condition was an absolute anomaly, and I just couldn't pass it up. So let's go ahead and show you around. So to start off the showcase of what a time capsule this is, we'll start off with the dealer brochure that was still in this car from when they purchased it. And I kind of know this because they actually had a printout of like a, I guess, Auto Trader site or whichever, that showed where they were actually searching for this car that had a 2006 date stamp on the webpage. But it was actually one with a tan interior, or taupe, and this one has charcoal. So I guess they ended up choosing this one after looking at the taupe one, or whatever the case may have been. But you see on the brochure, it is in the proper white, just like this one. So we'll go ahead and show you some quick page throughs of the brochure. You can see it's out on the beach and doing lots of camping beach type things, which is probably how none of these ended up being used, as most of them ended up being used for carpool duty. But look at that, and we'll look inside. Our interior looks almost just like that all these years later. Here's all your different options and so forth. So just super cool to see all this. And there's our all-important Arctic Frost Pearl. So super exciting to have this, which will come with the car to its new owner. One of the also cool things is a very period correct bull bar that was kind of popular on these back in the mid 2000s. But just looking around the car, you can see it is in very nice shape. You can tell it was not really used for the mom duty that I spoke of just a minute ago. So I know what you're thinking is that our parking lot is kind of strange looking. I've got a Verde Draco gated Lamborghini there. I've got tons of Mercedes floating around, whether vintage, modern, or anything in between. We've got a Maybach, the Ford GT's inside. And then there's this, which was originally a mom-mobile that was designed to take on the Suburban and the Tahoe and the like, but has ended up becoming a cult following of its legendary reliability, as these are known to go 500,000 miles on their original powertrain, as long as you change that timing belt pretty frequently, about every 90,000 miles or so. But you see them regularly come up for that, and like I said, that's why this 81,000 mile one just caught my eye, and I couldn't help myself. We'll go ahead and walk around the exterior. I mean, it's got a few little bumps and bruises from over the years, kind of like here on the mirror. But like I said, for mom duty, it is quite good. You can see how straight the body is. It almost looks like a refrigerator, which is super exciting. You can see we've got our nice Michelin tires, which are the proper ones for the very nice twin 5-spoke 17-inch wheels that are my favorite wheel on this era of Toyota SUV. Coming around the back, you can see the all-important that this is a 4-wheel drive equipped model. As here in the Southeast, we rarely saw the 4-wheel drive models. I spend a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest as well, and they were a lot more common there. Getting this one here, it actually started its life in the Carolinas and spent the first, I think it was 40 or 50,000 miles there, and then went to New York for a little while, where it looks like they drove it very sparingly, of course, by the mileage. We'll get some shots underneath just to show you, because I know the all-important question on these is, what does the frame look like? Because in the 90s, 2000s, Toyota did not do a very good job at rust prevention on their frames, on the Tacoma and the Tundra and Sequoia and so forth. But this one actually looks very nice. So we'll plug in some pictures that we took while we were underneath it. We'll go ahead and pop this up. See, our hatch struts work perfectly. It does not fall on my head, because this is back in the day when things were metal and quite heavy. But just have a look at this rear cargo mat. I'd argue that they didn't even put anything back here, because you can see we haven't cleaned this at all. Of course, we vacuumed it and so forth, but it's totally clean. You can see how nice the carpet is underneath it. And even the letters are still nice and white. They have like a reflective kind of look to them, which is super cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back where it lives, back here in the hatch area. But this was in the day of more labor-intensive third row seats. No power folding or fold flat flooring or anything like that. It is old school. You gotta hit some levers. But the nice thing about that is it doesn't break, just owing back to that era of reliability. And they can be removed if you want some more space back here, but look at how nice they lean back. So if you're in the third row, you can lean back and have a nap. I actually rode in the third row a couple days ago, and it was actually quite nice. Coming to close the hatch here, one of the best features of the Toyota SUVs and trucks of this era is this rear window. And what is special about that is that it rolls down, and with the push of a button, it goes right down. And these are notoriously broken, and there's a lot of TSBs and so forth. That's technical service bulletins for these not working and what you have to do to fix them. But this one works flawlessly. Unfortunately, the button on the remote only makes it go down. So if you want it up, you can either go back in the car or you can use the key there. So, but we'll go ahead and continue around and just show you how nice the rest of the car is. That very mid-2000s Toyota beep of the door locks. And just have a look, you can see we've got our WeatherTech liners in here, and this is equipped with the luxury package, which gave you the second row captain's chairs with the removable center console there, amongst a few other things which we will get to in a moment when we look at the original window sticker for this car. And thankfully, the original owner did still keep the factory floor mats of the carpet variety. And you can again see, I don't even think they used them. I think they put these in when it was pretty new because they are super clean. And this is more or less, minus a vacuum, how we got it, which is not usually the case with more than 5-passenger vehicles that are usually full of ingrained gummy bears in the carpets and of the like. And still, for back then, third row access is not too difficult. All you do is fold the backrest, pull this, it tumbles forward. You can see they even had a floor mat in here to protect the carpet when the second row seats are up. And again, back to the same thing. Carpets are super nice, all original. And just look at that third row seat. It's got the original ruched leather, which was kind of, again, of the period. That looks very, very nice. And I wish there was smell-o-vision, because growing up in one of these when they were new, it smells exactly the same, and again is very nostalgic and exciting. So I will be kind of sad to see this one go, but I can't keep everything, and this was one that we just knew we had to at least entertain for a little while. If you're familiar with this era of Sequoia, Tundra, whichever, if you look at the driver's seat here, they tend to like to crack and split in this area. But you can again see there's no wear on the die, no wear on the stitching, everything is in place. Just goes to show you again what a nice vehicle this is. But let's go ahead and give it a cold start. We'll show you here, I've got every single key for this vehicle. So these came new with 2 remote keys, and then the gray valet or spare key. And even has, this is what I call the dog tag, but this is the key code to cut the key. It even has that. And then they've got some sort of aftermarket alarm remote start thing that I have not been able to figure out. Even though they had some handwritten notes in the glove box of how to use it, I still couldn't figure it out. So I know I disappeared, and that's because I put cameraman under the hood so you can hear the startup of this Sequoia. And there we go, the legendary 4.7 liter V8 from Toyota roars to life, as you can hear, with the old school mechanical engine fan that makes all the noise. So the original Sequoia came out for the 2001 model year, and it originally had the 4.7 liter V8 without variable valve timing. It made about 230-ish horsepower. But in 2005, they added the variable valve timing and a couple other things, which bumped it to 282 horsepower for 05, and then they changed the way they rated the engines, and it was 273 for the rest of the run, but it was still the same from 05 to 06, 07. It was just they changed again the way they rated the power output. But you can see just how nice this one runs, as they kind of all tend to do, because they go 400,000 or 500,000 miles without any real issue. The only thing I can really think that is a thing on these is because it needs a timing belt every 90,000 miles or so. And you can see this one was done by this sticker here. It was done in 2016 at 30,000 miles, because this is a low mileage example. I guess they decided to do it by time instead of miles. So nothing to worry about there. You got plenty of time before you have to do another one with only 50,000 miles on this current timing belt. You could run it another 40,000 miles, so about half its life. And you can again just look around here. Like I said, we didn't really clean this or anything. It was just kind of how it showed up. It was a little dusty, so we just gave it a rinse off with a hose, and that was kind of it. We do have a new battery in here because it was completely dead. So nice fresh battery. But with that said, let's get this 4.7 liter V8 out on the road and show you what it drives like. All right, so I had to escape the heat and come into the air conditioning, but I forgot something before we go drive it. And that is, I have all kinds of goodies here in the glove box, such as the original books for the 2006 model year. See it in its nice Toyota pouch. Dig all my other goodies out of here. So this is our pocket reference guide. So this is just kind of all your quick guide on how to use everything, what the gauges are and so forth, and just kind of gives you a quick guide of how to do things, like how to use your turn signals, which a lot of us don't know how to do. And came with its original hang tag, gives you a warning about the fuel evaporation pump. Kind of interesting there. In this sweet little Ziploc baggie, this is your airbag warning tag, which is originally would have hung off the glove box in the showroom, and original owner saved it there and kept it in a little Ziploc bag to keep it safe. You got your warranty information booklet. This is part of the auto security system that I told you about that I can't figure out. So maybe the next owner can tell me how they figured it out. We got our owner's warranty rights notification, which this is long out of Toyota's 336 warranty, so we don't have to worry about that. Wow, this is your original limited warranty paper. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. By Southeast Toyota Distributors, again showing that this one came from the Southeast originally. This is our maintenance guide, which I thought was a little confusing, and for those of you with a keen eye may have caught on to this, is that this is a 06 model, but for some reason I guess they misplaced their 06 guide, because they did not use this one, maybe found it later, I don't know. I can't always speak for what the previous owner did, but all of the service records are in this book. See all of the Toyota stamps for its 5,000 miles, 6-month service. We've got our 10,000 mile service, 15,000, and it goes on and on and on. Here's where that timing belt one was done. So for those of you that love to find fault in cars, you don't plan on buying that, this one does prove that this goes to this vehicle as it matches the sticker under the hood. But both of these will still come with the car if you want the consistency. Oh, we got another owner's warranty rights. Don't know why. Maintaining your Toyota. As most of us know, you don't really have to do because they are such great cars. So these were originally clipped with Dunlop tires, or Dunflops as I call them, as I remember my mom having to replace them very quickly. I think it was under 10,000, 15,000 miles. And of course, the Michelins are what everyone picks because they actually last. Oh, the pre-delivery check sheet. I didn't even see this one in here yet. Had 3.5 miles at the pre-delivery inspection, and they did a half-mile test drive. It was very thorough. That's pretty cool. It's even got the VIN tag there from the stock number, you know, dealer paperwork when it was new. Does match the 241 VIN number. And we're going to get the best for last, but here is another hang tag for the proper care of your aluminum alloy wheels, which probably would have lived something like that at the time. And the piece de resistance, or the best part, which is the original window sticker here. Still has some sticky to it. So here we've got your Sequoia 4-door. This is the limited model, the high-end model. There was only the SR5 and the limited in this vintage. 4x4. It is the 2006 model year, and told you that Arctic Frost Pearl with the gray / charcoal / ash. That's pretty funny. You can see some of the options with this one. Has the JBL sound system, a whopping $200. And then wow, they paid extra for seat mounted airbags and curtain airbags. And then there's the all-important luxury package that I told you about. So you get the second row bucket seats with adjustable headrest, the second row center console, the unique wood grain style trim, memory driver's seat and mirrors, and then the also very cool rear air suspension. So if you like to tow with your Sequoia, or you put a lot of stuff in the back of whichever variety, you get 3 height modes. You can put it low for ingress and egress. You can put it in its normal mode, or you can put it in its raised mode if you need to clear something. And you can also hit this manual control, and you can adjust it just a little bit at a time if you want to, which is I don't know why you'd want to use that, but it is pretty neat. Pearl paint was a whopping $220 in 2005, 2006. And your daytime running lights, you had to pay extra for that. That's kind of interesting. Just $40. You even had to pay extra for your carpet mats and trunk mat. They paid $225 for that. Maybe that's why they took such good care of them. Which brings our total out the door with destination and fuel, whichever, to $48,817.58. Just under $50,000 for a fully loaded Sequoia. I think the only thing this one was missing is the navigation, which is hideously outdated at this point, and the rear spoiler, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure you all will correct me. So let's do the all-important fun part here. Is I know we all talk about the crazy inflation we've had in the last few years. Let's calculate what this would cost today. So if we do $48,817.58 in 2000, we'll put 2005 because, you know, usually the model year is a little ahead. And if we go to August of 2024, this would have cost you about $78,687.04 in today's money. So we are going to now compare to a brand new Sequoia how that stacks up, and a little bit different to choose from because they have a few more trim levels. They have SR5, Limited, Platinum, TRD Pro, 1794, and the Capstone edition. So we'll go with the Capstone because that is the top of the line model. And its base MSRP is $83,665. So that is already more than what this one cost for comparison, before options or anything else. So they have gotten a little more expensive over the years, but they are, imagine, a lot more equipment laden than the simpleton Sequoia of yesteryear. So before we set up our GoPro on the sunroof here, I wanted to showcase that for y'all real quick. Got your nice shade here. And one of the best things of the Sequoia of this generation is the size of the sunroof. It is quite massive. If you look at a GM SUV or something of its competitors, we're usually only about this big. So you get about double that. So let's bump that open. That is automatic. Works flawlessly, nice and quiet. So it'll originally stop at this position here for wind buffeting and so forth. But if you're going below like 40-ish miles an hour, you can bump it back the rest of the way, and you can have this massive opening to which you can actually stand up if you wanted to and hang out from there. And if you tie that in again with the back window there, you get all the airflow. So if you have dogs or something like that, I mean, it's got a lot of uses. I think it's pretty nice. And it is automatic, one touch up, one touch down. While we're here, you can also see we've got our heated seats. This is before kind of the common era of ventilated or air-conditioned seats, but they are heated and they work quite well. You got your power mirrors here, and just look how nice these buttons are. They're not shiny, oily, or anything. It's like they didn't even use it. But one of the things of the Tundras, Sequoias, pretty much any Toyota of this era, are the power folding mirrors do not tend to work. There's a little plastic gear in the mirrors that like to break, but if you look at this one, it works properly as it's supposed to if you'd like to use them. And here you can see this is the upgraded luxury cluster. So a normal Limited would not have this cluster. Maybe I can get in some editing here. We can show you what a normal Limited cluster looks like, but this is the one that has the height control, and just the gauges and so forth are a little different. Now that we've done all that fun stuff, I'll tuck all this back away and we will go for a ride. So apologies for my appendage here, but we want you to be able to see as we're driving along that you can see my view here. But before we take off, I'll show you just a couple other things around the interior here. Got our four-wheel drive controls here, which we will showcase that works here in a little bit, but this is your center differential lock. Got your 2-wheel drive and 4-high. So unlike the Land Cruiser and LX 470 of this generation, it is not all-wheel drive. It is 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive selectable, but you can run it in 4-high on the pavement as long as you don't lock the center differential. And then you've got your low range as well. And then you get a few things of the era, your normal trip computer and your fuel economy and so forth, which you don't want to look at in one of these. Your auto dimming rear view mirror. So it's got all the niceties that you really need that don't add any kind of complication. Got our nice coin holder here. And again, just look, there's not a scuff, a scratch or anything. It's like they just didn't even use this other than to maybe commute back and forth. We got some nice CDs in here, but I'm not sure what any of this says, but this came with it. And for the story of the vehicle, we will leave them in here. I thought it was kind of interesting that they emptied the CD changer, which is 6-disc, which is what this is, but left them in the car anyway. And then in the day of actual real cup holders, soft cups only, sorry. An ashtray, which you can see has not been used. You can also check our cigarette lighter there, which has not been used either. Which are all good things. But like I said, if y'all could smell this thing, you could smell like you were stepping into a Toyota dealer in 2005 or so. Let's throw our old column shifter in drive. Pop on our seatbelt, and it is nice. You get an actual adjustable armrest on these, so you don't have to just do this. It's like a lazy boy lounge chair. So we got our AC running, which is nice and cold on this 83-degree day in North Georgia. Fall is coming, but not quite there yet, so it's still a little warm. Hopefully, if cameraman can keep his equipment quiet, you can hear just how quiet the interior is on this Sequoia. They really knocked it out of the park with these, because like I said, they were trying to take on the big SUVs of the time period, like the Expedition and the Tahoe Suburban, and so forth. So they really had to do a good job in 2001-ish when they released this. While we're sitting at this red light, you can take a look at this nice steering wheel. It has no scuffs or really anything of note. The only real flaw on the interior I've seen is right here. It looks like there was some kind of scuff or something like that. But have a look at the headliner. You can see how nice it is. Not a stain, not a rub mark or anything. Here, the nice torquey 4.7 liter can live under 2,000 RPM totally happily. And like I said, this is a facelift Sequoia for 2005. They updated the engine amongst other things, and the transmission was one of those. So originally it was a 4-speed automatic, and this has the later 5-speed. A little more flexibility on the gearing. The later models like this with the added power and the added gear in the transmission feel a lot more lively than the early ones, which is very welcome, because even with a good-sized V8 back in the day, they were not super powerful compared to what we're used to now. But with that said, and we're up to 60 miles an hour. No fuss from the V8, just a nice muted roar from the front of the car. Here we're cruising, steering wheel straight. I can let go of the wheel and we can drive nice and straight. No crazy tire noise or anything like that. Sometimes with older vehicles, we are very spoiled to modern cars. That solid old Toyota feel that everyone has become trying to grasp onto as the new cars keep getting more and more sterile. Everyone looks for the old school kind of enthusiast enjoyment or something that is nostalgic to them. Coming up on a red light here, I'll get into the brakes some. We're going nice and straight. She brakes nice and straight, no shudders or anything to note. Got a nice, very solid blinker stock there. Everything's just meant to last back in these days. Hopefully you can hear. You get just enough engine note that it's not intrusive, but it reminds you that you've got a V8 under the hood, whereas the new ones are now a twin-turbo 6-cylinder, which is kind of the way everyone is going. I thought Toyota was going to hang on, and they did for as long as they could, onto the old V8 with the 5.7. See, it gets through a corner. I mean, you get some body lean a little bit. It is, again, back to the olden days of not everything had to be sporty and exciting, and the job of this one was to get the family around in comfort. Again, we'll make this U-turn, and it has a pretty solid turning radius. Look at that. See if we can outrun this Silverado here. Plenty of power, gets up to highway speeds nicely. And this one could even tow a boat or something like that, like I talked about with the air suspension. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about in here, as I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but this was back in the day of just simple family transportation, and with Toyota specifically, reliability. So there's just not much to write home about. Everything just kind of works. There's no crazy features or anything like that to break. You get a few simple steering wheel controls here for your JBL sound system. You do have cruise control and all kind of just the expected stuff, you know. Just enough is kind of the consensus of the Sequoia back in the day. It was just enough to do everything you needed reliably. Of course, you've got dual zone air conditioning, so you've got rear air conditioning, which has its own controls back here. You can see hanging out with my beverage. But the positive side to that is that you don't have to apologize for this. If you need it to do something, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. It just does. You want it to tow your boat? It does it. You want to go camping out in the middle of nowhere? It does it. There's nothing that can really hold you back from doing anything you want to do in one of these vehicles. And like I said, with this one being a four-wheel drive model, makes that all the better. And again, with this one being under 82,000 miles, there is all the life left in this Sequoia. As like I said, this powertrain is known to go 400,000 or 500,000 miles without any fuss. You know, just change your timing belt, keep up with a few things, and that's kind of it. We've got no warning lights on the dash. The air suspension works flawlessly. Have to kind of dig at my heartstrings there a little bit, unlike my dear Mercedes with its active suspensions and air suspensions that can be notoriously troublesome. I don't really remember anything of these being any kind of trouble. It is only in the rear, which is helpful, but it just works. The only real downside you can say to all the simplicity and just it working and doing what a car is supposed to do is this right here. That's kind of the only real gripe you can make about this, is that they were not fuel efficient. It was not the main design point of these vehicles. But again, most people don't even worry about that, because if you don't have to pay crazy repair bills or anything like that, what's the trade-off of having not the greatest fuel economy? But now that we're back at the shop, I will kick out Mr. Cameraman and we will showcase you the air suspension. I'm going to start by putting it in the raised mode here. Hopefully you can enjoy the side profile there of the Murcielago hiding in the background. We'll hit the up button there. And that is in the raised position, which is confirmed by the high light on the instrument cluster going solid instead of flashing. And if I go down to the low mode, all right, we are now confirmed in the low mode. So if you need to put something in the trunk or anything like that, it's a little tough to pick up, it is very welcome with this feature. As one of the things of the Sequoia back in this day is that they had a ride height or ground clearance about 2 inches higher than any of its competition, about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So nice to have that. But we'll go back to normal mode here, and Cameraman will follow me into the gravel side of our parking lot, and we will showcase you the four-wheel drive, as I don't really know a better way to show that to you other than to spin some wheels. All I'm going to do here is kind of take off with a little spirit and show you that just the rear wheels are going, because we are currently in two-wheel drive. And we'll go ahead and pop this into four-wheel. Unlike the early Sequoias, this has a electronic four-wheel drive actuator, whereas the early ones had a manual lever. So we are now in 4 high. We bump it and drive again, and give her some throttle. We take off, no problem. Like I said, you have the center differential lock, so currently, even though I'm on gravel, I can make a full lock turn, and if you're doing some serious off-roading, you can lock the center differential, but this allows you a quote-unquote all-wheel drive mode. And we'll bump you into 4 low also and show you that. So another click of a button, we are in 4 low. You can see how quickly it wants to jump forward. And you can hear how quickly it goes through first gear, being in 4 low. We are now back in two-wheel drive mode, as this is how it will probably live most of the rest of its life. But here, we'll go ahead and have cameraman grab a listen to that sweet V8 exhaust note. So that concludes our day here with the time capsule, one owner, first generation Toyota Sequoia. I know I'm adding all the stipulations there because it is very exciting and nostalgic to me. And this one is coming to bring a trailer here very soon, so be sure we'll put a link and so forth, all that fun stuff, so that you can bid on this Sequoia and hopefully have it in your garage as well. Hopefully you'll keep it as nice as the original owner, because that would make me very happy. As I said, this is very nostalgic to me, having grown up in one. But if you like what you see here, be sure to like, subscribe, check out our website to see what's coming soon. We appreciate all of you and look forward to seeing you on the next video.